Our guest today is Alex Peransi, Wichita investor. I'd love to find out, more about, more of your background. You said you got a degree in finance, and you and I have known each other, for a long time. But yeah, just give us the quick synopsis of your professional career and leading up to real estate, and diving in.
Definitely. So I have a probably a pretty standard background. I went to college at Wichita State University, graduated with a degree in finance.
Go Shockers.
Go Shockers, yeah. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my life, so um, someone told me that accounting would be a really good profession to get into. So did that first job out of college, worked at Koch Industries, and then every year after that, I kind of found different organizations to work for, learn from, and just really wasn't fulfilled with that lifestyle of going to work 8 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
working in that cubicle environment. So was really looking at an opportunity to try to create something for myself and get out of the student debt that I was in because I went to get my 4 year degree. So tried a whole lot of things. Went down the YouTube rabbit hole of forex investing and
Yep.
buying rental properties and even e-commerce shops. Um, Came to the conclusion that none of those worked for me. Lost some money. Found another video, wholesaling real estate. It was a Max Maxwell video at the
Yep.
time. Went
Yep.
through that. Really taught you how to find your own deals. So I did that. I did that for about 30, 45 days. Got my first deal done, and that's when I was hooked. Got into real estate full time about a year later.
So you got your first deal, your first wholesale deal in 30 days.
Yes, I just applied a lot of what I saw on YouTube. And there, back in 2019, there was a lot of information, but it wasn't easy to piece together yet.
Yep.
You had to really watch a thousand different videos to really get
Yep.
the process.
Yeah. Max Maxwell's, amazing teacher and
Mm-hmm.
tons of great content. So what action did you take from watching those 30 days? I mean, that's not real typical, but what, did you just jump on the phone? Did you download a list? You door
Yeah,
knock or what?
I was driving for dollars. Like you see that a lot, driving for dollars and pulling different lists from the county. So my very first deal, I just so happened to start around the time where there was a tax auction.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of distressed sellers, if they don't pay their taxes, they're gonna lose their properties. So I called that list. I happened to find a young lady who she was 26 years old, had a house free and clear, but she had about 30 or so days before she was going to lose her property. So I helped her navigate that situation, not knowing a lot at that time. But we got the foreclosure stopped. I helped her sell her property, and that was my very first deal. I
So
was really able to help that person.
yeah, I mean, literally you were helped her where I've experienced the same thing with sellers many times is they just feel so overwhelmed and they just don't know what to do. And an investor, a wholesaler, can come in and like piece the puzzle together, talk them off the cliff, and get the deal done. And that sounds like that's what you did.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she was really overwhelmed. Life circumstances happened to her, but it's hard to see clearly when you're going through this turmoil. So
Yeah.
she needed somebody who could think objectively to help. Hey, here are your options.
Yeah.
This is what you can do, and ultimately that put me in a position to really help her and get her hot property sold.
Nice. So
Yeah,
that was after 30 days. So then obviously you were making money hand over fist since then. I mean, that's right. Isn't that what happens?
something like that. Yeah, so I did that after that first deal. I was hooked.
Yeah.
And then I went after it. Just started marketing on my own. I had a full time job for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And did that just part time. I would send text messages to people, call them. I'd also go knock on their doors, and didn't get a lot of traction after that first deal. Probably for about another 3 months.
Yeah.
So I stuck with it because I knew that the concept was there. It was proven. It worked. So just continuously take action and stay consistent with what I learned on the internet.
But to your credit, and I've talked to a lot of investors. That first deal came in 30 days, and 3 months later, most people are going to jump out. They're going to get super discouraged. But I mean, like, sounds like you had a game plan. You were committed to the process, and knew that you were going to do whatever it takes to get it to succeed. Right.
Right, right. And I mean, to my benefit, the very first deal I did, well, it was a large assignment fee.
Mm-hmm.
So that kept me motivated. And I still kept my W-2. So I had security before I decided to jump into this full time.
Yeah.
I'm not as risk loving as most people. I'm very risk averse.
Yeah.
So I created stability for myself before I actually took that plunge.
So you didn't cash the check and quit your job the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I paid off my student loan. So at the time, Sally Mae was still in business.
Yeah.
I paid her off, and I kept going because I really was back at zero at that point.
Yeah. That's smart. That's super smart. Were you still at Koch at that time?
No, at that time I was working at Curo Financial. So they own different payday loan entities,
Uh-huh.
well known Speedy Cash.
Yeah.
So and that's I learned a lot at that company actually about data,
Yeah.
skip tracing, programming, and just that mindset of how to actually be a really good analyst.
I always say every investor has a competitive advantage. They've got to find their competitive advantage. And so, it sounds like yours was understanding and know, I mean, obviously with a finance degree and, you're very intelligent, but having that background, mine was construction.
Mm-hmm.
Some people's it's sales. Some people it's, they're addicted to spreadsheets, or, some people it's, everything about, structuring a deal, or, but yeah, sounds like your competitive advantage that you leveraged really well was data and analytics and things like that.
Data and really attention to detail. I give a lot of credit to a lot of the accounting positions that I held because it's not a lot of people don't have that natural ability to really stick to the details and look through boring information. And the boring stuff in this business is really, it pays dividends.
Yeah, it does.
And a lot of people don't want to do that.
I don't.
Yep.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah. I'm weird. I like it. I'm kind of a nerd, but that's my competitive advantage.
That's great. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, likewise, I'm guessing you may not, I don't know, answer this, but you may not love talking with contractors and looking at old houses and, arguing with them about what they're doing wrong. And
that's one thing I'll admit, and that's my weakness, is dealing with contractors, managing projects.
I love it.
Construction.
Oh man.
My stomach just churns. Anytime I have a fix and flip going.
I just had a rush of adrenaline just talking about it. I'm ready to go look at the project. I'm being totally serious. Yeah. So that's, I mean, it's interesting. And, a lot of times people don't, real estate investing is a great, I don't want to say niche. It's a great strategy to achieve independence and achieve wealth. And, and everybody's got, as I said before, their competitive advantage, but it's doable for everybody. I mean, I haven't met anybody that, could not, if they apply themselves and are determined, jump into real estate in one form or another. And there's plenty of different investing strategies, and, you need to really assess your strengths to specific strategies and see if it's going to work. But yeah, I mean, I've seen, every, type of personality, every type of income bracket, every type of, people, the real estate hustle is their third job or something like that. It really just has to do with, again, if you're going to apply yourself and, not take no for an answer. And that's been my experience anyway. And, honestly, there's a lot of burnout in people. They get started and they get disillusioned and they're like, man, somebody told me that was easy.
Yeah. This was a get rich quick scheme, right? Supposed to buy a house, fix it up, and make a killing.
Yeah.
Right. But it doesn't always work out that way. I mean, I know you and I have both we've had opportunities where we've lost money on a deal. And, but that goes back to just staying consistent, stay the course, and just progressively take action every day and get 1% better. I've heard that a lot. Just continue to develop yourself, get better at what you're good at, and look for people and surround yourself with those that can capture where you're weak and just grow.
Yeah. Atomic habits. You said 1% better. That's a big atomic habits premise. So yeah, Alex, tell me about your transition out of your W-2 job. I mean, you said a year later you were continuing to wholesale and apply yourself, and then so what did that look like? You know, when did you determine it wasn't after you cashed your first check, which is smart? When did you determine it was a right time to go full time in real estate?
So like, at the time when I started in real estate, I was going through Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey, really just working on getting that debt paid off, right? So I just set a plan for myself. After I got my student loans paid off, I wanted to establish at least a 6 month, emergency fund for myself. And then that way, when I did go and do this full time, always had something to fall back on just in case.
Yep.
Because again, I'm more conservative than some people. So I saved up about 6 months worth of income. I still stayed at my W-2 job just because there was some fear there too. Just leaving the safety of a 9 to 5, getting paid every 2 weeks was a struggle.
Yeah.
So I stayed at my job for another year and did this, which at one point I had a conversation with my wife and she finally talked me into like, you need to pull the trigger, Alex. You've already proven that this works. You need to just jump ship, burn all the bridges. So I just got to the point. I had enough money saved up. I achieved my goal. I put in my 2 week notice and I didn't look back at that point.
That's awesome. It's amazing having that support, I was at a meetup in Dallas just this last week, and we had a significant discussion, and we had a panel actually of spouses, and we were talking about the challenges of, do we support this? Do we not support it? I mean, the troubles, the pitfalls that come along with that. So that's really cool that she's behind you and cheerleader, I assume.
Yeah, she's my biggest cheerleader. She's my support. My rock.
Give her a shout out. What's her name?
Shout out to Sarah.
That's all right.
I've been with her now for 8 years.
Awesome.
So that's been a blessing.
How many babies you got? You got a bunch of babies.
4 babies right now.
Lord.
Yeah. One on the way.
Oh, that's right. Dang. Man, congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for those listening, again, this is Alex Peransi. Alex is. He's the most humble guy I've ever known. Most guys I would talk to, when you mentioned your assignment deal, they would have told you how much it was. You just said it was a large one. He'll never toot his own horn, but Alex is a very seasoned investor. He is a significant presence around the country, not just here in Wichita, but wholesaling around the country and doing deals. And so when Alex talks, people should listen. I'll say that. He'll never say that, but
yeah, I mean, I've had a hard time really speaking up about my successes, and that's just it's definitely been a mindset shift for me. Really, just be open, because I think people would benefit from what I have to say and listening, because I'm not your typical investor.
Right.
Like, I'm more of an introverted person and more reserved, but just this year alone, my business, we've been able to do about 85 wholesale deals, fix and flips and rentals.
Yeah.
And we do that, here in Wichita, Missouri, parts of Missouri. We've done deals in Louisiana.
Yep.
So, and it's just, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
It has. It's grateful for where I'm at.
Yeah. I've heard it put this way, that there are people that are counting on you to speak about your success. Not in a braggadocious way, not in a look at me, but there are people, and if you can get that concept, the way that I've been taught that is, it resonates with me deeply. Like, yeah, I need to share my story. Like, and again, not in a bragging way, but like, that's why I think, interviews like this and, the impetus for us to start a podcast is to share stories like this. People want to hear, people need to hear stories, and people need inspiration. People are, not just people that your family, your friends, and your sphere and circle of influence. They're seeing you and seeing your progression. But more people. And anyway, that's something I've learned over and over again is to do it well. Not again. I'm like, if I ever see anybody listening to this, my gosh. I don't care how nice your car is. Don't ever take a picture in front of you with your car. Nobody cares. Yeah, and the people that gravitate checks towards that, oh my gosh, that's so phony. I mean, that could be a real car, it could be a real check. That's fine. Bring and deliver value to people. Nobody cares about the flex. I mean, the flex right now is, I'm debt free. How about that? Is that a flex? Yeah. The flex is that, I just helped, somebody out of a terrible situation, or, your first deal, help somebody out that was just, those are the flexes that I like hearing about. So, all right. So you transitioned full-time real estate. Tell me, what did that look like? Were you still a one-man show? Were you building a team? I mean, I know you've got a team and VAs, and what point were you pulling the trigger on hiring?
So I quit my W-2. I was a one-man show with one virtual assistant. And I was doing a lot of the cold calling, texting, and then my virtual assistant would kind of facilitate that as I transitioned from a one-man show to having someone help me do this business. And I did that for an additional year, just on my own, calling sellers, going acquisition appointments on my own, looking at properties, having a limited construction background. I met up with people and I learned from contractors that could teach me how to actually look at opportunities and evaluate a property and its condition. So I did that for about a year. And then at that point, again, a more calculated approach. I built up enough reserves so that I could continue expanding, buying the right data, hiring the right people, and scaling to where I'm at today, where we have, a team of 5 people, so several virtual assistants, an acquisition manager. And then I'm also working with another experienced wholesaler, helping him in his business, showing him what I do really well. And in turn, it's kind of been a mutually beneficial relationship.
So, talk about that, because I think a lot of times people sleep on the idea of providing value to somebody else, and like the synergy that can come from, I don't know if you're talking specifically like JVing deals together, or, just helping one another achieve mutual goals. But what does that look like? I mean, honestly, I don't know much about what you're doing there.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know what I was doing or how to structure this in the beginning. And it's still a challenge, but, working with this individual, often when you start, you have little to no money, and you're really grinding. You're trying to find opportunities wherever you can. So, this individual, he didn't have the right information. I helped him get the right data. He got started. He started calling the list himself, and he also had a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And he was able to just that shift from just having the right information, calling the right people, turned his business around, and he's been able to make, quite a bit. And inversely too, it's just been mutually beneficial. I see more deals come through my pipeline, and I have more opportunities.
Zach Childress talks about this a lot, and I'm in a group with him, learning a ton. And he so he does a lot of training. He does a lot of he's very ingrained in his local market. And the question to him was, well, you're teaching everybody to do everything you're doing. You're gonna squeeze yourself out. And he's like, nope. He's like, I just partner with everybody. He's like, I help people. I partner. Deals gravitate towards me. I'm helping. I mean, it's a mutually beneficial, and I love that. I mean, I've accidentally been doing that for a long time, not really setting forth with that mindset in mind, but, sounds like it's
these opportunities
going good.
You come at it from a go-giver's mindset.
Yep.
This perspective, just give to people, give value, and you're going to get value back, but don't expect it, because it's not always going to work out that way.
Yeah.
But I think if you genuinely help people and you come from the right place, you'll see opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you do, even if it's not in real estate.
Yep. Yeah. That's a good point. I'm guilty probably as much or more than anybody of just having my blinders on about business and real estate. But, you take the blinders off a little bit more and you see like, we're like in a journey together with people around us in life, and, we can, help one another achieve financial goals and, establish those. But yeah, what else? We're helping people in their life, helping them, change legacies in their family. And, I think I know the guy you're talking about, and I mean he's had a rough time lately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like kudos to you. That's awesome.
Life happens to everybody, and I think it's our duty to help the people that we see struggle. But that's just the way I think. In his predicament, there were financial struggles, there were health concerns,
Yeah,
and he just needed someone to help lift him up. And
yeah.
I could have viewed him as competition.
Most would have.
Most would have, right? And that's a missed opportunity,
Yep.
which is fine because it pays dividends.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just looking at numbers and all you care about is making a profit, it worked out that way. But
Yeah.
again, these are people that are going through life,
Yeah,
and you should be there
yeah,
for them.
100%. So, yeah, I love it, Alex. That's great. Tell me, you're established. You've got a great team. You're doing, you're pushing almost 100 deals a year. That's awesome. What's on the horizon for you? I mean, what do you see? I guess I don't know. I'd love to know what trends do you see? Are you pulling back on anything? Are you doubling down on anything? I mean, or what kind of where do you foresee your company going in the next 6 to 12 months?
As far as my company goes, I know there's concerns in the market. We're gonna continue to stay the course and just continue to build, just double down on our marketing, really get our message out to the people that need to hear it the most, and just continue to buy distressed assets at a good price and help homeowners out in the process. So next year, projecting to do over 150 deals. That's our biggest goal. Expand into one other market and have a presence in that market. And then look at commercial opportunities too. We're looking at land, and potentially building out some storage facilities.
Really?
So that's kind of the next horizon for us. We do a lot now, but that's more of a long term play that we think will be more stable.
I'd be interested to see how that progresses. I get shiny object syndrome a lot. I haven't got shiny object storage unit syndrome, but it's probably coming, I guess. Analyze it and understand it. I know people have fantastic returns on that.
Mhm.
Commercial is one thing I'm very interested in. My wife is actually in grad school. She'll be graduating in May and opening a private therapy practice. And so, we were talking like space that she's going to go to, or, we're going to lease, or what. I'm like, I'm going to buy a building.
Right.
We're going to buy a building, and so I'm diving into that.
It's overlooked. I feel like by the average investor, they think single family is the only route to take.
Yeah.
Buy 100 rentals, retire, whatever that looks like for you. But there's definitely opportunity, especially with what we do and the access that we have.
Yep.
Doing direct to seller marketing to commercial.
Isn't that crazy? Like, what's been one of the like craziest leads you've gotten? Like you mentioned direct to seller. I mean, we've gotten leads, on places in, Timbuktu. Like we have no idea. I mean, we've gotten I went and literally walked in Applebee's here in Wichita.
Mm-hmm.
It was shut down in Andover, and like we were walking, we're like, I don't know, buying Applebee's. What am I doing here?
We don't know what you're doing, but you figure it out.
We did, and we made an offer, it didn't work, but
Yeah.
I bought a mobile home park. We're going to wholesale a mobile home park. We put that under contract this week, and I thought, well, maybe we'll keep it. And, that was one of the shiny objects that we'd done. It was, it's on an outlying area just outside of Wichita. And we're like, we got to stabilize it. We got to bring in and raise the rent. I was like, we'll just wholesale it. But what's been some of tell me, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me some of your crazier deals or stories you have.
So there was a deal. It was actually a referral that was brought to me. There was land in Mount Hope, Kansas. It was a 40 acre deal, owned by an old farmer. His kids didn't want the land, and he just wanted to dispose of it. So I wrote it off when I heard about it. I was like, oh, we don't invest in that area. We don't know we don't know what to do with it. But it ended up being a really sweet deal. I mean, I'll share the numbers on it. We picked it up for $130,000 and ended up wholesaling it for $220,000.
Was that acreage?
Acreage, yeah.
Just raw land.
Just raw land, 40 acres, undeveloped.
Ag or what?
Yeah, agriculture. Guy that ended up buying it was a hobby farmer, and he wanted some land to basically entertain his friends and family.
Uh-huh.
So he's putting a gun range on it, couple houses, just for his family. So
Nice.
yeah, that's probably the biggest deal, the weirdest deal we've done. We've seen others, like we've walked an old Vietnamese grocery store
Uh-huh.
here at like around 19th and Broadway.
Yep.
We've seen a strip mall center near 47th and Broadway. So there's there's a lot of distressed commercial, and these sellers aren't talking to a lot of people.
What's your craziest residential story?
Craziest residential, like profit or just
No,
experience?
I'm just whatever. Just
Yeah.
interesting story. I mean,
Me too.
what is the highest level of hoarding that you've walked through? 3 foot, 4 foot?
I honestly haven't been in I don't see a lot of hoarder houses.
Oh, you're looking in the wrong place.
I'm looking in the wrong
No, I'm
places.
just kidding.
But I think just there was this firehouse that we went into.
Yeah.
It just felt like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, those are eerie.
The walls were just straight black. You
Did the
see-
ceiling fan melt?
Yeah, ceiling
Isn't that
fan
weird?
melted, insulation, and then so we walk the property, and we get into the kitchen, and then we see this creepy doll poking through the insulation.
Oh my gosh.
And it just looks like something out of Annabelle or just
Yeah.
this wicked horror movie. So I'm running and excuse me if I can't curse, but
No, go for it.
I'm running my ass through the property just as fast as I can. I got this lady an offer, but it just was a creepy house.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to be in it. And then I've got bad allergy problems too.
Uh-huh.
So being in a smoke damaged property really gets to you.
Probably did, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was probably the weirdest house I've ever been in.
Firehouses are,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just eerie.
The first time I saw a TV melted on the wall and the ceiling fan melted, I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was, anyway, yeah, firehouses. I mentioned hoarding houses. I mean, for whatever reason, we've picked up a lot of hoarder houses, and I think so. I've bought hoarder houses. We've had them come through our leads, and then we've bought them from other wholesalers. A lot of people are not real cool with that level of rehab, and I'd eat it up, or I used to anyway, foolishly. But yeah, we've seen terrible situations, and
Yeah.
you know, animal hoarding houses, infestations of everything you can think of,
Raccoon
and,
infestations.
oh god, I had a family of raccoons in one of my flips, and we
Yeah.
could not freaking get rid of them. We thought we got rid of them and closed it up, and they were back. And you talk about creepy. You walk through a house and you hear the I don't know if I can pick this up, Kayla. You hear that on the ceiling above you because they're in the
Yeah.
attic, you know.
I
Anyway,
guess that's my cue right there.
the PTSD. That's
No,
okay.
I'm just out of there. You see a lot of interesting things, you know,
Yeah.
especially just the way that people live
Yeah.
and are just able to just deal with just gross
Interesting things, interesting people.
Yeah, interesting people, just the environments that they live in and
Yeah.
how they deal with that, man. It's just interesting.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you've been in real estate, especially any wholesaler can probably empathize with this, that, you know, you really do meet a lot of, you know, really interesting people that are just in some of the most horrible conditions or times in their life. And, you know, you've got to, the way that we teach our team is you've got to take that very seriously. And above all, you've got to help people out. If we're not the right fit, that I don't care. We're still helping people out when we see a need, we help people out. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of people don't live by that motto and, you know, see vulnerability as an opportunity, which is terrible. That's going to come back on them. But yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff and a lot of bad situations and a lot of people that are just, you know, desperately needing some solutions and help. And like for instance, we've, you know, done everything from, you know, helping people clear stuff out. I mean, renting storage facilities for people, hiring professional movers.
Yes.
I mean, we'll bring people over. I mean, I've loaded up my truck and helped people move. I mean, we're, you know, calling the exterminators to come get rid of everything that might be crawling around just to help them, even if it's, you know, they're only there for 3 weeks till we close. I want them to have some sort of peace of mind. But um, yeah,
Yeah, like you said, I mean, you touched on I think the most important part of the process, and that's putting people first, and just listening to what they need.
yeah,
And leave your agenda at the door. If you can help somebody in a situation, great. If you can't, give them some direction,
yeah,
and they'll really appreciate that, and may come back and work with you.
yeah,
There's no need to convince anyone to work with you.
yeah. And if they don't, that's okay
Yeah,
because I can sleep at night.
exactly. We can sleep at night.
For sure, for sure. Um, so Caleb, where are we at on this? We about half hour in. Okay, we'll start. We'll turn the corner because you'll edit. You'll edit out a bunch of the crap that I'm talking about right now, right?
Yeah. Edit this crap out.
Edit this out. All right. What else do I want to talk to you about? What else do you want to share?
I don't know, man. I'm an open book. If anybody wants to reach out to me, for any reason, they can. Again, I've got value to help and provide people with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end, I'll ask people how they want to get a hold of you, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they
plug-
can do that.
plug
Whatever.
whatever. So
I think I think the biggest thing that people need to hear on this call, and I'll harp on it, is, if you're personally not satisfied with your life situation, you need to really do something about it.
Yeah.
And don't just sit around and wait for a golden parachute. Just get out there and hustle and
Yeah.
make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be this extroverted individual to do it. I'm proof
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
You can be just the quietest kid in the room,
Yeah.
and everybody overlooks you. But little do they know, like, you are absolutely crushing it.
Yeah. Any what's some of your favorite, as we turn the corner, what's some of your favorite books, podcasts, any material that you consume that really fuels you and that you might recommend to others?
Yeah, I like there's a lot of podcasts that I listen to. I like
Jason Flips Houses.
Jason Flips Houses is number one, so make sure to add that, favorite it, like and subscribe. But Patrick Bet David has a great podcast. He's really good. Just overall business and life and sales.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Trang, that's been one of my mentors doing real estate. Great one to listen to. Lots of good people on there. But as far as books go, I've read a lot of impactful books in my life, but I think one of the best, and people have probably heard of, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, by Dale Carnegie. That one's a great book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That everybody reads that in real estate. If you haven't, you really should.
Yep.
But one of the books that I'm reading, recent is The Gap and the Gain, which I think a lot of people would benefit from, and that's just a mindset shift. Very simple. Instead of focusing on what's going wrong in your life, you should focus on the positive.
Yep. Yeah.
Just in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's amazing. And whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
I think there's so much untapped potential in people, and I don't know whether society or familial relationships or whatever. People are not realizing their potential, and I touched on it earlier. Like, people are counting us to like share our stories and inspire and get people off of the starting line to unlock what they can actually do. And I don't know, we could do a whole nother episode just on that. Mindset has been a huge influence in my life, and I actually hired a business coach and mindset coach, and she really helped me unlock the potential I had. That I was playing small. I had so many limiting beliefs. I was playing small. I was very idealistic and driven, but I wasn't putting action to anything. So if that's you, if you're listening to this and you've got great ideas and you think about all kinds of stuff, and then you pick up your Xbox and just start playing, then there's the problem. You've got to take action on these ideas you've got. And yeah,
I will say though, as far as Xbox goes, totally fine if you're cold calling while you're playing Xbox. I've closed deals over the phone. Little do the sellers know that I'm playing Halo in the background.
That is
Call of
awesome.
Duty. So, um,
I've never heard
it's a
that.
good way to take the edge off too. There's actually a couple guys that do it on YouTube. But
I believe it.
You take just that way you're not so in your head.
Anytime I'm on the phone with a deal or seller, and I don't cold call. I mean, we talk about competitive advantages, and that is not one of them. I'm allergic to spreadsheets, and I hate talking. I hate calling, and you do it so well. I'd rather go, to
Manage
a
a
project site.
yeah.
But yeah, I pace. I'm like always walking. I mean, I'm on a call. I'm trying to close a deal. I might have to pick up a game controller because I find I can't just sit and talk or somebody. I'm like, I got to go walk. Like I should get a treadmill and just.
I do that too. Just pace around the room.
Yeah.
I've done workouts while I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what you're doing. You have a good conversation.
Yeah.
But I know one thing that I think would be helpful to people on this listening to this is, like, if you have fear, I heard this acronym. It's false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And that's all that fear is. It's just a construct in your mind.
Yep.
And don't let that 5 seconds pass where you think about what you're going to do. Just do it.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I like that acronym, and that is, so true. Well, man, I appreciate you being here today. For real, how can people get a hold of you? I mean, give a shout out to your company. I mean, you already gave a shout out to your wife and everybody else, but yeah, how can people get a hold of you? And
people, you can reach me Facebook, Alex Peransi, Instagram. I'm on there as Lex the Godson. That you can reach me there. DM me if you guys need help or have any questions. I'm pretty accessible, but
what's your company again?
Company name is Real Estate Rescue.
Nice.
So if you Google us, you can find us.
Yeah, they'll find you before they find me.
Yeah.
On Google.
On Google, that's it. I can't speak for Bing or Yahoo, whatever you use, but Google, that's where I'm at.
You got a secret sauce on your guy. What's his name?
I'll give a shout out to Will Baker.
Yeah, that guy.
He's the SEO guy that I have is amazing.
Yeah, it's funny. Before you hired him, I ran across him and I was like, "Come on, I'm not gonna hire that dude." You're killing it.
He's killing it, like in just a whole nother space too. So he does SEO marketing for marijuana stores.
Yeah,
in Las Vegas,
and stuff. Yeah,
dispensaries here in Oklahoma and Vegas.
Yeah.
So he's just, if you look up expert SEO, he's the first guy that comes up.
Yeah. No, I know that.
He won't deal with you in Wichita.
So yeah, you'll find Alex if you're Googling. You'll find him way ahead of Harmony Homebuyer. Harmony Homebuyer. Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you being here, and yeah, man, I'm very thankful. As we start this podcast journey, just to find and have quality conversations that I think bring value to what people really, truly want to learn about, and do it in a just a fun way. My motto is if I can't have fun at what I'm doing, I'm just not going to do it.
Do something else.
I'm just not going to do it. So that's so, for all the type A personalities that are so driven and, are just by the book, and, that's great. I would love, send me a message. I'd love to have you as a guest on our podcast. But for me, I like to have fun. And so anyway, I appreciate you being here, and yeah, just sharing, and
appreciate the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to be just in the same room as you. Just you've got a lot to give,
man.
So
all right, well, we're gonna end with that right there.
There you go. Mic drop.
All right, thanks.